Hello Year 8, welcome to Lesson 11 in the Race Across the World series of lessons. As you can see, the title today is Route Planning, but I will talk about that in a little more in a moment. Firstly, well done to everybody who submitted their descriptions of the graphs from Lesson 10 using the World Bank website. That was a really good geographical skill that you had a go at doing in that lesson, so well done to everybody who included data and looked at the axes carefully and really compared Uruguay to Brazil. Before we start the task for today, in episode 8 of Race Across the World, we finally find out who won after 54 days of travel and a 25,000 kilometre journey from Mexico City all the way to Ushuaia in Argentina. So I'd like you to go to Show My Homework and click on the link for iPlayer, go to episode 8, and from 47 minutes and 56 seconds watch right up to the end of the episode to find out who won, and then you can have a think back. Did you predict the right winner when we started this series of lessons? So pause this video and go over to Show My Homework to find the iPlayer link. Okay, so back to our lesson in route planning. So in lesson 11, we're not going to be racing across the world through the TV series anymore. We're now going to be racing across Europe, and you are going to be doing a virtual journey from a start to end point. And there's going to be some rules, just like in the TV show, about where you have to go and how you travel, and possibly even how much money you've got. So over the next few lessons, as I mentioned, you're going to be virtually racing across Europe. You are going to choose your own route. You get to choose the countries you'd like to visit. And some of you will stretch yourselves and even work within a budget. There's going to be some quite strict rules about racing across Europe. So the first rule is that everybody starts in Bulldog. The second rule is that everybody ends in Istanbul, which is in Turkey and is very famous as it's one of the European gateways into Asia. The third rule is that you must visit at least 5 countries on your journey. And when you visit each place, you're going to need to provide 3 pieces of evidence that you have been there. For example, facts or figures about that country, maybe annotated photos. You could make a pretend postcard or make some ticket stubs for visiting tourist destinations like the Eiffel Tower, for example. And you'll have to provide a route map to show us your journey across Europe. Finally, there's some quite strict rules about transport. You are not allowed to go on planes or helicopters. However, you can use trains, buses, coaches, ferries, boats, motorbikes, hovercraft, push bikes, anything except air travel, just like the competitors in the BBC series that we've been watching. And finally, there is a stretch task of a budget of £1,000, which sounds like a lot of money. However, that budget needs to cover your travel, accommodation, tourist attractions that you visit, as well as your food. So you really will need to keep an eye on what you spend your money on. All of this project is going to be done in 3 stages, so don't panic. Today we are just going to be thinking about the route that we take. As you can see, here's a map of Europe, and you can see that Bulldog is just north of London. in England, and Istanbul is in the gateway to Asia, which is in Turkey. Now, to travel through 5 countries to get there, you could take all sorts of routes. You could go through France, Switzerland, into Italy. You could cross over the Adriatic Sea, possibly go to Greece. Then you could travel up into Bulgaria, or you could travel a different route. Perhaps you would like to go across to the Netherlands and then into Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and down sort of the eastern side. It really is up to you where you travel, but you do also need to think about the transport that you take. So today we are just going to be focusing on planning your route across Europe, starting in Baldock and heading to Istanbul. En route, you should aim to visit 5 countries at least, and you should also decide what transport you will use to travel between each country. Also try to think about where you will change trains or get off a ferry, get on a coach. Remember, no planes or helicopters are allowed, so you're going to need to be quite creative about your transport. As a stretch, remember that you can have the budget of £1,000, so spend your money on travel wisely, because you will also need money for accommodation, food, tourist attractions at a later date. So don't go spending all your money on luxury first class travel. You could, as a stretchy stretch, also think about including how long your journey takes. So you could keep a record of how many hours different parts of your journey take and then add them up to get a total number of days at the end. By the end of this lesson, you should have an annotated map. There are some attached on Show My Homework for you to use, or you could sketch your own, or if you are struggling with a map, you may like to make a detailed list of where you go on your route. You should also include a breakdown of your travel route and the method of transport. I'll show you an example of how you could do this in a table. So along the top of my table I've got from, to, the method of transport, and then I've done the stretch, which is working out the cost. So the first leg of my journey is Baldock to King's Cross. I'm going to do that by train, and it's costing £17.40. I looked that up on the National Rail train website. Then from London, I'm going to go from St Pancras Station to Paris on the Eurostar. I looked up on the Eurostar that would cost me about £39 if I went not in peak times. And then from Paris, I thought I'd head to Italy, as I quite like to see Rome, and I was considering going by coach, and I'd look up how much a coach trip might cost heading down to Italy. So you've got complete freedom about the journeys that you take, but you need to visit at least 5 countries, and you need to end up in Istanbul. Good luck. This is very creative, so everyone's going to do something slightly different. There isn't any right or wrong, as long as you stick within the rules, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with. Your teachers are expecting you to submit an annotated map and also a breakdown of your journey with types of transport, and at the end of the project they will ask you probably to resubmit this again as the full project. But today we would like to see just how you get on with this first task. So please take a photo or send it in on a Word document or something equivalent to let your teacher know that you are well underway with planning your race across Europe. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with.